Tavares.
Right in the butt.
What?
No.
Less than a minute now.
Tool time for 200.
This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Ken?
What's a hoe?
No.
Spell garbage.
Garbitch.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Monk Dan. I'm back streaming, baby, for another day. I'm happy to be streaming. Man, let me send a quick shout out. What's up, Luigi, man? I see you in, man. What's going on, brother? And let me send another shout out to Streamlabs with y'all bullshit ass update. So fuck Streamlabs, man. I'm using them, but they kind of piss me off, man. I just want to do a little quick rant. Anyway, my channel is not based on Streamlabs, man. My live streams are based on sharing and seeking wisdom through philosophy. So last stream we talked about Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. And it was a really good topic, man. Actually, I'm sorry, excuse me. Last stream was about Casanova, but the previous stream was about Napoleon Hill Outwitting the Devil, excuse me. And I caught up on chapter 2. I am on chapter 2, man. And I want to talk about chapter 2 today. So the title, man, is prayers are useless to the other self. And if you are not caught up with the streams, the other self, Napoleon Hill talks about the other self. He got the idea from Andrew Carnegie. And what the other self is when you are down and out, you're in an emergency, when things are not going well, you have to dig deep within yourself to find a way out, if you will. That's the brief way of describing it. And the reason why I had to say it that way is because even Napoleon Hill, even though he's finding success, he still does not fully understand what the other self is. He has an idea. Andrew Carnegie brought the idea to him, so he's still new to it. And so am I. As I read this, I'm still new to it. So I'm having an idea of what it is. It's kind of described as an invisible force, and it's only given to men, as Napoleon Hill described it. It's only given to men. But he said majority men don't even access it, which is mind-blowing in itself. All right, so just a quick overview of chapter 2. The title of chapter 2 is A New World is Revealed to Me. And so what he means by this is now that he's embarking on the new self or the other self, he's experiencing these things now, meaning he's experiencing his purpose, if you will. So in chapter 1, he's just about to embark on his new self, meaning he travels to Philadelphia. He didn't have any money. He's fulfilling his purpose, or he's following the direction of the other self, the self within, the faith. We'll get into the terminology later. But he's being guided by this inner peace, if you will. And so now he's in Philadelphia, and the other self is telling him, all right, so now you're here. I need you to do these things. And so he has these extravagant hotel rooms. He's put himself in position to receive blessings, if you will. I have to use that word. That was the only word that I can think of. So anyway, so now he's in his room, and he's having to make a list of 300 plus people that he's going to send like a notification, or not a notification. That's more updated. He's like sending some sort of letter to all these people to say, hey, I have this idea. I have a manuscript. Please invest in me. And so one of the names that were mentioned was Henry Ford. So he knows a lot of famous people. And so Henry Ford didn't reply, and 300 plus people didn't reply. But there was this one name that did reply, which was, this guy's name was Albert L. Pelton. I don't know who that is. Maybe you do. But I'm saying that to say that, and even the author noted this, that there is great power in network. And with Napoleon Hill, he had these great network of people. But this guy, Albert L. Pelton, responded to him like, okay, I hear, he caught his attention, if you will. And so Pelton was in another city or state. And so he actually traveled to Napoleon Hill to see what he was talking about. And whatever he saw, he was impressed by Napoleon Hill and the manuscript. He actually gave him money up front, like, yo, what you need? I mean, he funded this guy immediately. So much so that, his life started taking off, all because of the other self told him to make these certain moves. And so not only that, the book sales or the manuscripts started to sell. So he started making money from that. And he was able to pay back those debts with the lavish hotel rooms he had. And also, he did something very unique. He had the idea to pitch some salesman courses to automobiles. He noticed that guys who were graduating from school didn't really have a salesman idea or a salesman pitch to sell automobiles. And so this dude here, Napoleon Hill, what he did was he called up these automobile companies and said, hey, he pitched his idea to them, and they were super impressed, so much so that they put him on board to coach these guys, these young guys coming out of college. So with all that being said, the other self really put him in position for success. And so, I agree with everything all the way up until the point of where he says he started including prayer. And that's the part that I was like, what the fuck, Napoleon Hill? Like, no disrespect to anybody that's religious, whatever your religious belief. You know what? How about this? I don't want to get too religious, and I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in religion. I don't have a religion. I don't give a fuck about religion. You may call me an atheist. That's fine. I don't acknowledge myself as an atheist because then I would have to make an argument why there isn't a God or gods. I just don't know. I have no idea about these things that you created. So with that being said, I'm not going to talk about this person right here.
Jesus said and Jesus went. Oh, yeah. Jesus heard and Jesus walked over. Oh, yeah. Jesus. Yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about Jesus this evening.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Jesus. This is not about a Jesus conversation. I don't give a fuck about any of that. And if you take it personal, go shove that shit up your own fucking ass. I don't care. So this particular part, I have a problem with Napoleon Hill including prayer and God in this conversation. Why? Because now that excludes me from the other self. I have a problem with that. Like everything, I agree with everything he said. Building up with Andrew Carnegie saying, "Hey, you have to find your this other self." I agree with all of this. I agree with having the great power of network. I agree with that. Let me look at some more things about this. Like I was all the way up until this point, man. I was so on board with everything until now the God card started being applied to this conversation. Let's see. Like I highlighted this part. It said, there's a great power to be discovered in your other self. Search sincerely and you will find it. I agree with that. I have no problem with that. Search within myself. I'm on that path right now. So I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. Let me read this part here. I highlighted it. No, I don't have to read that. That's just little small details. These are small little details as well. But there are some more things. I'm going to get to the meat of what my argument is. Let's just get right into it. Fuck it. I don't have no time to waste. Let's get into it. All right. So this is where, if you do have the book, Outwitting the Devil, if you do have this book, I'm starting from page 39 at the bottom, where the title or the start of it, faith has a new meaning to me. So now I'm just kind of, I'm put off, if you will. I don't know if that's the correct term or terminology. I'm really, I really disagree with now this approach. I know it sounds crazy because you have the devil in the title, so that hinted to me that there would be some sort of spiritual talk and all this. But why does that have to be applied to the other self? All right, let's get into it. So he starts off page 39. He says, I repeat that I do not know exactly what this other self is, but I know enough about it to lean upon it in a spirit of absolute faith in times of difficulty, when the ordinary reasoning faculty of my mind seems to be inadequate for my needs. I get that. I'm not against what he just said. Now the word faith, it can be a little iffy, but I'm okay. This is okay. I'm okay with what you just said. And essentially, he's relying on something when the mind, he's saying his ordinary reasoning faculty of my mind seems to be inadequate for my needs. Like right now, I'll use myself as an example. I'm trying my best to use as much logic and reasoning to get myself through this very economic difficulty time that I'm having with this transition of AI, and then our economy is trash. Jobs are shitless. I still have not worked. I'm in my 3rd month and I still have not received the check. So I get it. I'm trying to understand and use I'm trying to have a rational mindset. I'm trying to understand this shit and fight through it. So I get that part. This is the part where it gets a little bit tricky. And in essence, I'll continue with this, which the part that I agree with. The economic depression, which started in 1929, brought misery to millions of people, but let us not forget that the experience also brought many blessings, not the least of these being the knowledge that there is something infinitely worse than being forced to work. It is being forced not to work. I'll repeat that again because it seemed a little choppy how I read it. The economic depression, which started in 1929, brought misery to millions of people. Okay, I do know that there was the Great Depression, but let us not forget that the experience also brought many blessings. Okay, so kind of like now, even in the past, what was the housing crash market and all these things when the banks failed and all these. Excuse me. When there is time of chaos, there are people do win. When there's time of war, there are people who benefit from war. So I get that. I have no problem with that. Not the least of these being the knowledge that there is something infinitely worse than being forced to work. It is being forced not to work. I totally agree with that. Right now, I'm like, I'm being forced not to work, which is crazy. I'm like, I want to work. I have to work to survive. How else can I get some sort of income to take care of myself? It seems as though our country, this fucking world is, you know what? Let me backtrack. It seems like the United States is trying to put its people, its citizens in a position to where they are forcing us not to work. They're not hiring people. You have these people, even when they were like, I hear people talking about, hey, you shouldn't, you have a degree. Like my degree I have 2 degrees. I have a degree in a Bachelor of Arts in Theater, and I have a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. I've heard many people say, oh shit, you ain't got no goddamn degree. You can't do shit with that degree. It's a Bachelor of Arts. They talk negatively about my degree, right? Cool, fine. You have several people who have degrees in Bachelors of Science from all sorts of the spectrum, if you want, STEM fields. They have all of this, and these fucking individuals cannot find work, and they just graduated. And these people have loads amount of debt, and they can't find work. They're forced not to work. This is the society. This is what we have created for our people. They're saying AI is going to take over. It's already here, and I do see the effects of it. It is taking over. Yes, it's here. but we're being forced not to work. So I totally agree. I totally agree all the way up. I agree. I so agree. Even the author on page 40 kind of chimes in and says, can our present economic travails be more of a blessing than a curse? I'm in that position. I'm like, that's my rational mind, and also acknowledging the other self. I'm saying, okay, there is a way out of this. This can be a blessing. I'm trying to treat it as a blessing, not as a curse. Can economic hardship, such as the loss of a job, hell, I can say I'm losing my job right now. I have not had a fucking paycheck, and this is my 3rd month. I'm in my 3rd month. I don't expect to see a paycheck. I get paid supposedly today, Thursday. I will not see a check on Thursday. This coming Thursday, July the 10th, I will not see a check. If I do see a check, I'll be fucking surprised. So yes, I'm feeling these effects. Let's see. Let me continue. Being a blessing in disguise. I'll read that sentence in full. Can economic hardship, such as the loss of a job, be a blessing in disguise? Can this be a blessing in disguise? I am pushing for it to be a blessing in disguise. The hardship that I'm facing right now, the hardship that you are facing, I am fully committed to seeing that this is a blessing in disguise. Perhaps, yes, if the result is the awakening of an entrepreneurial spirit and the creation of a new business. Yes, I am trying to think business minded. I'm trying to think as an entrepreneur and create something new on my own. Yes. So I agree with Napoleon Hill, and I agree with the author, Miss Sharon Letcher. I agree with them up until this point. I agree. I'm not disputing all of this. We're on board. We're on board. Now let's get to the part where it gets troubling for me. This is where it gets troubling. It starts with the chapter on page 42. If you do have the book, it's starting with page 42, the value of giving before trying to get. But the part that I'm going to hone in is on page 43, the first paragraph. All right, it reads, my other self has taught me to concentrate upon my purpose and to forget about the plan by which it is to be attained when I go to prayer. This is where I'm lost. Not lost. This is where I'm just like, what the hell, Napoleon Hill? Why did you have to include this? Why did you have to include religion in this? And I'll go in more detail. Let me continue with the reading. I am not suggesting that material objects may be acquired without plans. What I am saying is that the power which translates one's thoughts or desires into realities has its source in an infinite intelligence which knows more about plans than the one doing the praying. Okay, I'm going to read that one more time, man. That little part right there. What I am saying is that the power which translates one's thoughts, the power, whatever power that is that translates one's thoughts or desires into realities, has its source in an infinite intelligence, which knows more about plans than the one doing the praying. Okay. This is where it gets murky for me. First of all, what is the infinite intelligence? I wish I could pull up my capture screen and we can look at it together. Streamlabs. I did an update, and the update that you guys have given me just does not work. So please forgive me for not being able to share the screen and we can look at this together. I am gathering that what he means by the infinite intelligence is some sort of higher being as a god. That's what I'm perceiving this to be, because he's using the word prayer. And so we can associate prayer with praying to a god. That's how I concluded that. Now, I'm looking at this information and I'm trying to understand, why are you including, or why are you connecting the other self, or involving the other self with prayer and this higher being. Why did you do that? You've just excluded individuals like myself. I don't understand, why did you involve that? Andrew Carnegie didn't involve praying in all of that nature to the other self. He didn't say any of that. Why did Napoleon Hill have to include prayer into this? Why did you have to include religion, or as he worded it, the infinite intelligence? Why did you do that? And then also, you just kind of contradicted yourself, or you made it useless. You made my argument or my title relevant. My title is prayers. I forgot my dang on title. Prayers are useless to the other self. So you're furthering my argument. Why do I say that? Because in his own words, what I am saying is that the power which translates one's thoughts or desires into realities has its source in an infinite intelligence, which knows more about plans than the one doing the praying. Your prayers are useless. You've just said it. You've just said it, Napoleon Hill. I'll cut that little part right there where he says, an infinite intelligence which knows more about plans than the one doing the praying. Your prayers are useless. You've just committed a useless act. You've involved something that didn't needed to be included in the other self. I don't get it, man. I don't understand why he did that. It just excluded a lot of people. And then you're talking about, if I may, he's going to be talking about a particular religion. He's not talking about a widespread of religions. So he's excluded not only myself, but he's excluded individuals who don't believe in what he believes. Why did you do that, Napoleon Hill? I'm angry because it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like you had something essential that was beneficial to everyone. You had something right there that was for any man that's looking to have that entrepreneurial spirit to create. You had that. But then when you start including religion, it's like now you're starting to separate people because of that one thing. I'll continue, man. Let me continue. And then the author follows in response to this. Here it is. Let me. So I told you Napoleon Hill's perspective, and then now the author did the same thing at the bottom of page 43. Now the author says, "Is prayer a part of your life?" ? My immediate response is no. It's not. I don't believe what you believe. I don't want to take those actions. You're saying I have the other self. Why not? Why can't I just have that? I'll continue. Do you trust God to hand over the plan best suited for the attainment of the object of your prayer? Like Miss Sharon Letcher, you just ruined the other self. You've just excluded me. For someone like myself who's looking to overcome these obstacles in my life, these economic hard times, we've agreed all the way up until now. We've agreed. But you personally just took me out of it. You even asked the question, is prayer part of your life? No, it's not. Do you trust God to hand over the plan best suited for the attainment of the object of your prayer? No, I don't trust. I don't believe what you believe. So now what? Where does that leave me? Where does that put me in this situation? I'll continue. She says, do you acknowledge that in order for your plan to be successful, you must take action? Do you acknowledge that in order for your plan to be successful, you may take action? You must take action. What action is that? What action should I take? Miss Sharon Letcher, which action should I take? What is the action? Obviously, you're including prayer as the action. You've just excluded me, Miss Sharon. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. For someone like myself, I'm searching for answers. I'm literally in Napoleon Hill's situation. I'm in a economic turmoil in my life right now. Shit is going crazy. And now I looked for this information, which was very beneficial as I thought it was. I was like, okay, great. All right, I got something. You know, the great Andrew Carnegie gave this information to Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill has discovered it, experienced it. He's sharing it. Okay, I'm on board. We're both going through the same situation. The Miss Sharon is also acknowledging, hey, economics, it's bad. You know, okay, I'm on board. And then all of a sudden now, prayer. Is prayer a part of your life? Now you've just shitted on me because I don't believe your religion. That is awful, man. I wrote my personal note in the book at the bottom here. I wrote a little personal note here. This is what I said. No, I do not believe or trust in your God. Your belief makes no sense. Your prayers, or I put your prayer not apostrophe, prayer or prayers should not move or change your God's godly plan. Does that make sense? I'll repeat what I just said. Your prayer or prayers should not move or change your God's godly plan. Does that make sense? I'll continue. Remember, you are mortal. Your God is immortal and created you. Are you suggesting that I will not succeed if I don't believe? This is what I put in the book. First of all, I don't understand prayer. I don't understand that. And the book kind of talks about some things about prayer. I just don't get it. It does not make sense. Listen to I'll go back to what Napoleon Hill just said at the top. What I am saying is that the power which translates one's thoughts or desires into realities has its source in an infinite intelligence, which I'm assuming that to be his God, which knows more about plans. So his God knows more about plans than the one doing the praying. So why in the fuck are you praying? Why are you praying? Why are you praying? And he kind of talks about his prayers later in the chapter. He's talking about, I remember one aspect of his prayers, he was saying that he was praying to say thanks for what he has, if you will, being thankful. But why? Why? If we can be honest about the reality of people who pray, you're praying for change. You're praying to get out of a circumstance. You're praying for some sort of outcome to be beneficial to you. If we agree on that, then you should all automatically follow me with what I'm about to say. What you're praying for is useless. It's your God already knows your God. Your God already knows the plan. Why are you praying? It's useless. It's useless to the other self. Your God put you in that bullshit. Your God wanted you in that situation. Your God wanted you to suffer. So I don't understand why you're praying. I don't understand why why religion had to be included with the other self. Does that make any sense? I don't get it. I don't understand why Napoleon Hill and the author had to take this turn in this book. You've just excluded me, someone who's thinking like, yo, you're mortal. You're saying this, as Napoleon Hill described it, this infinite intelligence. You're asking your infinite intelligence to make a decision based on what your request is. That is stupid. That is stupid. I don't get it. all you should be saying at least is, okay, what's the plan? That's all you should be saying. What is the plan? That's all you should not be making any requests. You shouldn't be saying shit else, but what's the plan? And I'm even that in itself is baffling to me, because I'm like, why are you even asking what the plan is? Shouldn't you already know the plan? Why would you follow your belief in God or whatever God you believe, and they don't instruct you with anything? It's just a messy situation. I just don't understand religion. I don't understand why people follow that shit. You know what?
God damn!
Yeah, that's me right now. I'm the one that's burning the fuck up. I'm the one that's burning the fuck up, man. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it, man. That upsetted me. I'm like, I'm just so like, why would they do that? Why would they do that? And then the author just makes it even worse. Is prayer part of your life? Why? Why is that important? We're talking about the other self. That's the most important element of this chapter 1 and chapter 2 so far. It's you acknowledging, you following your inner self, the other self. That is what's important. I don't get it, man. I mean, that just troubled me, man. And then there's another part here, page 46 in the middle of the book. Napoleon Hill says, "I am not a prophet, but I can, with all due modesty, predict that every individual has the power to change his or her material or financial status by first changing the nature of his or her beliefs." I'm like, what the fuck, Napoleon Hill? You just everything now. I'm like very hesitant to understand. Not hesitant. Well, I mean, I am hesitant, but I'm kind of reluctant. I'm just put back. Like, okay, what are you saying now, brother? Like, where are you? I'm just questioning everything you're saying now, which I was questioning, but I was listening from a point of saying, okay, let me rephrase that. When I was reading for knowledge. Okay, you brought something to the table that I had not understood or not known or had not known, which is the other self. So I was like, okay, you're bringing out some great points, and I understood it. You talked about your experience, and Andrew Carnegie, gave the idea, and I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, sure, let's go. I'm on board with that. But when you threw the God and prayer stuff in there, it just ruined everything. And then now with this part, it makes it more confusing when you say shit like this. I am not a prophet, but I can, with all due modesty, predict that every individual has the power to change his or her material or financial status by first changing the nature of his or her beliefs. And then I put a note here. I said, so I do not need your God. I'm confused, Napoleon Hill. I'm confused, brother. So if you're saying every individual has the power to change his or her material or financial status by first changing the nature of his or her beliefs, if you're saying that, what is the purpose of prayer? What is the if I have the power to make these changes to my financial, to my material and financial status by changing my belief, what is the purpose of your God, and what is the purpose of prayer?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
You don't find that suspicious? You're contradicting yourself. I don't know how to proceed from here. Everything was fine. We acknowledged the craziness that our worlds have experienced, are experiencing. You've experienced it damn near 100 years ago. I'm experiencing it right now. We acknowledge these things. We agree. Okay, there's something within you as a man that you have to find. I get that. I get that. It's difficult being a man in this fucking world. It's so difficult because we have to create. We have to create these things to make an income or have a means of living and surviving in this world. We're not a woman. Women, all they got to do is point at the goddamn pussy and somebody's going to fund them. We see it all the goddamn time. We see it all the fucking time. All she got to do is, hey, I got a pussy, and she just open her legs, get the money, and she's on to the next. We see it all the fucking time. They can do these things. They say they want to work, but then they say, I want a man to take care of everything. So you're not working, bitch. So I don't understand. Or how about this? I do know that as a man, we have to work. And now with this, I was like, okay, cool. This has just awakening, as you even said it, Miss Sharon, which I love when you said this part. I love this when you said, perhaps, I'll read the whole entire thing that I highlighted. Can our present economic travails be more of a blessing than a curse? Can economic hardship, such as the loss of a job, be a blessing in disguise? Perhaps yes. If the result is the awakening of an entrepreneurial spirit and the creation of a new business. Yes, I'm on board with that. I'm like, yes, I need to create. I cannot depend on I cannot depend on being a fucking employee, a slave for the rest of my life. Why don't I create? Why don't I be the entrepreneur? I say, yes, I'm on board with all of that. As a man, I have to create. I have to do this for me to live comfortably, for me to be successful, so on and so forth. I have to do this. So I'm like, yes, I was on board. But thanks, Miss Sharon, and thanks Napoleon Hill for excluding me from this. You've excluded me. I'm disappointed. Why? Because I don't believe what you're believing. And then what you believe in, you contradict what you believe in. Napoleon Hill, you can change your situation. So what the fuck is prayer for? Huh? Somebody let me know, man. What the fuck what are you praying for? If you can change your situation, if you're telling me that I can be the entrepreneur and create and get myself up out of this situation, why did you include prayer? Don't you find that suspicious?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I'm just at a loss of words, man. I don't understand why did they do that. I don't understand why did they do that. There's one more part that I wanted to highlight here. Napoleon Hill says, and this is on page 48 if you are following along, in the middle of the page. My conception of the other self, which I have tried to describe, is that it merely symbolizes a new discovered approach to infinite intelligence, an approach which one may control and direct through the simple process of mixing faith with one's thoughts. This is the part where I had the problem with. This is the only other way of saying that I now have greater faith in the power of prayer. Wow. Wow. That hurts, man. That hurts, bro. That hurts, man. Cause I'm like, what is the purpose? Why are you putting so much, why are you putting faith in the power of prayer? He says, this is the only other way of saying that I now have greater faith in the power of prayer. Why did you do that? Up until this point, he never mentions about praying. He never mentioned anything about prayer. When he was with Andrew Carnegie and he was moving from job to job to job to job, he didn't mention anything about prayer. Chapter 1, please go back into chapter 1. We can go back together if you want. Chapter 1, he never mentioned anything about prayer. And I told you, it was 2 incidents where he had to discover the other self. One was when he was broke and he was stranded. I want to say it was Canton, Ohio. He was stranded. But he overcame that because he said he had to dig deep in his other self. And he overcame it and everything was going smooth. And he connected with that guy. He was saying his speech at some sort of college. And the guy saw him speak and was very motivated by him and started investing in him. And then that guy got murdered. And then he basically had to run off because the murderers was like, they're going to kill him, even though he wasn't involved. But that took a mental toll on him and he was depressed and so on and so forth. But I never heard him talk about prayer. That's what's confusing to me. The author never mentioned anything about prayer. They only emphasized the other self. They were like, yo, the other self. The other self. So I don't understand why did they make this heel turn. He's putting all this emphasis now, not on the other self. Now he's saying prayer. This is the only other way of saying that I now have greater faith in the power of prayer. Why? 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 Why not say I have a greater faith in the other self?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Am I the only one that's thinking like this? Am I the only one with some sort of mindset like, okay, this is confusing now? What happened? You gave us a heel turn, Napoleon Hill and Miss Sharon Letcher. You gave us a heel turn. This is not good, man. This is terrible. This is terrible. You've just excluded. First of all, I'm telling you, your prayers are useless if you're saying that you believe in a God or the infinite intelligence. If you're saying that you believe in this infinite intelligence, why are you praying? You shouldn't be praying. You should be saying, I just need the answers. Tell me where you need me to go. Tell me where you need to go. Just how you were obedient to the other self, then it should be the same thing. Where do you need me to go? Tell me. It shouldn't be no praying and all. It shouldn't be none of that. But that's the odd thing about this. It's like you're putting now you switched away from the other self, but now you're putting more emphasis on prayer and this infinite intelligence. Why? Why? Now you're putting so much emphasis on prayer. Why? It's useless. What are you praying for? Huh? What the fuck, man? You are mortal. You supposedly your God created you. And now you're saying, okay, well, I'll just pray to get myself up out of this situation. Let's be honest. You're not praying for anything else. I know in the book he was talking about he prayed, he's thankful for, he's praying for thanks or for thanks for the things that he has or some shit like that. Man, let's be honest, man. Cut the bullshit, man. Let's cut this shit. Bro, you're praying because you don't like your situation and you need it to be changed. That is why you are praying, man. I don't want to hear all this other boy. Man, religious people and religion, man, y'all are the most fucking hypocritical people. I don't understand religious people, man. Like, why would you get up there and say these things and do the opposite? Holy fucking shit, man.
God damn!
I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. One class that I got an F in is the philosophy of religions. Oh no, it was called world religion. Philosophy of world religions. I believe that was the title. I just got an F in that class because I'm like, man, I don't know if it was the way one of my classmates said it was the way that my professor taught the class. How my professor taught the class was just how religion is. Just regurgitate the shit that you're reading. So I had to memorize all these practices and just regurgitate that shit. And I'm like, bro, this is so fucking boring. I'm not learning anything. You're just programming me to learn what it is that this particular religion wants me to know. It was no thinking involved in this. Just tell me what this religion says. Okay. I was like, I'm doing this shit. Okay. This one says do this, do that, do that. I'm like, yo, this is terrible. You're programming me. There's no thought, no questioning, no asking. There was none of that. And I'm like, bro, this is terrible. Religion, like you're just followers of nonsense. Because if I were to ask you about your religion, all you're going to do is go revert right back to what's in a book. You have no visual evidence, none of this. I'm like, why, bro? Like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck, bro? That ruined it, man. I don't want to say it ruined the book for me, but it took a dark turn. I mean, it took a fucking. Oh, let me look at chapter 3. Let me look at I'm not gonna read it. I just saw something. The title. I just saw the title. Let me go. I'm curious about. The title for chapter 3 says A Strange Interview with the Devil. Let's talk about it, man. I want to know. You motherfuckers tell me, you motherfuckers emphasize or you hint that the devil is bad. Tell me about the devil. I have no knowledge about the devil. So hopefully in chapter 3, Napoleon Hill would give me some insight about the devil. But if I were to ask a religious person, they wouldn't be able to tell me nothing about the devil. And I'm like, why? You're hinting that this is a bad entity. Is it a god or what? Because you're saying that it was once an angel. From my understanding, they were saying it was the devil was an angel. The devil was like a musician. The devil was beautiful. I'm hearing all these things. I'm like, which one is it? I heard the story about Adam and Eve, the snake. I'm like, was that the devil? Like, what the fuck, man? Religion is, it's so many questions, and religion is not there to answer it. It's their only purpose is to just tell you what the fuck to do, is to just control your ass. I don't understand. Why are you praying? Why? It makes no sense. You're saying this is how he phrased it was the infinite intelligence. It knows everything. Why are you praying? And let's be honest, your intent on praying generally, because yes, you can be thankful about certain things. Sure. Generally, your ass is praying because you need change. You're not liking the state that you are in. This is what Napoleon Hill was in. He was in the state. This is the driving force of the book. He didn't like his position. He was broke at one point in time. He was just unhappy. So he didn't like the situation he was in. He was unhappy. This is hence the other self. This is the driving force of the book. So when you say you pray, you're praying because you don't like a certain situation. You don't like the circumstance. You don't like the economy. You don't like this. You're praying because you want the change. Why are you praying? You have no say so. You are the follower. You're not the leader. The leader's supposed to know it all. I don't get it. It's useless. It's useless to the other self. I don't know why Napoleon Hill and the author of this book, why did they do that? They took a not even dark, they took a stupid turn. You took a turn, a dead end. Like, what the fuck? You're going nowhere with that. So now I'm supposing that now we're gonna get into more spiritual talk, which I'm fine about that. All I'm saying is that it makes no goddamn sense. It makes no sense, man. Like, wow, man. Chapter 1 was nice. I was like, okay, cool. Chapter 2, let's get into it, man. Then all of a sudden, bam, they hit me. They had to hit me, man. They hit me with the bullshit, the nonsense. And then the author asked me, why would you do that, Arthur, Miss Sharon Letcher? Why in the fuck would you do that? And then they put in some more stuff in here. I'm just like, is prayer part of your life? Do you trust God to hand over the plan best suited for the attainment of the object of your prayer? No. Man, that's discouraging, man. That's so fucking discouraging, man. I don't know, man. Let me know what you think, man. I don't know what to say, bro. Yeah, man, that's tough, man. That's tough, man, because for someone like myself, I'm in shit right now. We acknowledge this. The author and Napoleon Hill, we acknowledge this. We like, yo, it's tough out here. Find the other self. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Dig deep within. You don't really know what it is, but you know it's like an invisible force. I'll go back to chapter 1 if I can, man, and find it. I was like, yo, man. I'm like, yes. Okay. It's like the spirit that's driving you, man. It's the spirit, whatever you want to call it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it, man. Yeah, man. I like that. Like, we were on board, man. Yeah, here it is. You will discover that the cause of success is not something separate. And I believe this is Andrew Carnegie talking. You'll discover that the cause of success is not something separate and apart from the man. It's not separate. It's not apart. That it is a force so intangible in nature that the majority of men never recognize it. A force which might be properly called the other self. No mention of prayer here, man. We're not even talking about prayer. Prayer was not even mentioned. Words like self-development. We even acknowledge there was a part right here. I believe this may have been Andrew Carnegie, or it might have been Napoleon Hill. There are millions of people in the world who have not the slightest conception of the causes of success and failure. Yes, that's me. This is in chapter 1. This part right here is in chapter 1. Yes. There are millions of people in the world who have not the slightest conception of the causes and success, of the causes of success and failure. I don't know. And then watch this second part. This is the part right here that I'm like, yes. Here it is. The schools and colleges teach practically everything except the principles of individual achievement. Yes. Yes. These schools are scams. They're fucking Rockefeller. I just want you to be a nation of workers. I don't want you to be I don't want individual achievement. So I'm like, yes, come on, yo. I was feeling this. I was feeling it, baby. I was with it, man. They require young men and women to spend from 4 to 8 years acquiring abstract knowledge, but do not teach them what to do with this knowledge after they get it. Yes. 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 I'm on board with that, bro. Yes, I'm living that. Man, these schools, man, they ain't nothing.
Trash.
They just trash, man. Just trash. So you spend 4 to 8. I'll give you here's a personal experience that I had. I lived in San Marcos, Texas. I was in grad school for mathematics. I love philosophy. Philosophy introduced me the idea of mathematics and physics. And I have a story about physics. I'm interested in biology, chemistry. I'm into that shit by way of philosophy. So I have a deep appreciation for philosophy. I'm thankful for that. That's a very key thing. That's a sentimental thing for me because I was homeless. I was homeless, yo. I was homeless and I was lost. Philosophy was something it ignited the other self. At least got me to the point of saying, hey, get off the streets, man. Get off the streets. So I said, okay, man. All right, let me focus in. Let me lock in. I gotta understand life. I gotta understand what is the meaning of life. I was like, oh shit, yes, because I was so deep and dark and I was down. So anyway, I'm moving. Things are not great, but I'm moving, man. I eventually got an apartment. I'm like, okay, great. I graduated with my degree in philosophy. I was working at the gym. Man, I was getting some sort of income. Things started to sink back down for me. I hit rock bottom again, but luckily I still had thanks to, and the book talks about that. Napoleon Hill talked about that. He was like, for some odd reason, when the time comes, you might not have it, but when the time comes, sometimes it's delayed. But when it's there, you're gonna need it. It shows up. It arrives. That's what happened to me. I pick myself up off the streets. I get myself off the street. Got myself an apartment. In school once again. Graduate. I'm hustling, working crazy ass jobs and shit. I'm doing what I can, man, to survive. I almost lost my apartment again because the money I was making wasn't enough. It was just part-time shit. Made it through that shit. Graduated. And I was still working some hustling jobs, working for the county in Houston. Yeah, it was the county. Hustling for that, but the pay was trash. So I was like, fuck it. I can't stop. I can't stop. I got this philosophy going on. I got this love for mathematics. And so I got accepted into the graduate program at Texas State. Now, the program was not how the program was situated. So for those who want to look up my history or whatever, the program was called the Developmental of Mathematics. If I got that correct, please forgive me if I'm wrong. It's been years. I believe it was called, it was a master's in developmental education of mathematics. Something of that sort. Essentially, what I wanted to do was be a college professor. I wanted to teach philosophy. But I didn't even get accepted. I didn't even look into the philosophy program. For some odd reason, it just didn't connect. And so I was like, oh, great. I got this program with mathematics. I love mathematics. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'll pivot into teaching mathematics, right? My journey from mathematics was crazy. I'm in that program, but I was like, man, something is not right. I was like, I'm doing more writing papers, if you will, learning about, what was it, fucking APA, I believe it was. I was like, yo, what the fuck, man? I'm learning more about writing papers than fucking mathematics. So I'm like, man, something ain't right, bro. Something ain't right, man. What the fuck, man? I'm gonna be a college professor, but all I know is how to write a paper in APA format. I'm like, this is some bullshit. Once again, I took it. God damn it, I lost the page. Once again, schools, they require young men and women to spend from 4 to 8 years acquiring abstract knowledge, but do not teach them what to do with this knowledge after they get it. I'll do it one more time for you, man. I'll do it for schools. Y'all, schools ain't shit.
Trash.
Schools ain't shit, man. So I'm learning APA. Like, what the fuck, man? So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, you know what? Since this program that I was in is supposed to be for mathematics, but I'm learning more about APA. So I was like, all right, let me switch over to another math graduate program that's more heavy into mathematics. So let me get more involved. So I was like, you know what? So I did something crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of this graduate program and I'm going to start at the bottom of mathematics, because remember, I had a philosophy degree. We didn't have to have a strong math background, but that's crazy. You would think math and philosophy are different. I kid you not. My philosophy homework, I was taking it to the math department. We were literally doing math. Somebody was like, man, y'all don't do no math. I literally showed my philosophy homework to someone, and they said, the first thing they said was, damn, that shit looked like math. Anyway, with all that being said, I was like, yo, I love math so much. Let me start from the very fucking bottom to make my way up. This is my story. I was like, this is gonna be my story. And I could tell motherfuckers like, yo, this is how I know math. And I just wanted to build that story. So I get to elementary mathematics, like the bottom of the bottom of that shit. A plus, A plus, A plus. I did run into some asshole math professors, and some of these math professors, even though they might know math, they can't teach math. That's why I wanted to be a math professor, because I was like, yo, you can't even teach math. You know all these fucking theorems and shit, but you can't teach fucking math. So I was like, yo, man, that's my connection to this shit. I can teach it because I can connect to it, right? So I ran into some asshole professors. I forgot what class it was. It was like pre-calculus. This dude was an asshole. I dropped that class, but eventually I picked the class up again from another professor, A plus, calculus 1, A plus, calculus 2, A plus. Then I get to calculus 3. I was at San Antonio College, and then I transferred back to Texas State to finish my higher degree mathematics courses. So I'm in calculus 3. So I'm doing well. I'm getting all my grades A. I'm doing well, right? And then this one particular time, I was struggling with this subject. I don't know. I can't remember the in-depth knowledge of the subject. Excuse me. I'm just riffing here, and then I'll close it up. I was struggling heavy with the subject. I mean, I was stressing like, what the fuck, man? I was just like, I just can't get this shit. And so I went to my math professor. This is calculus 3. I said, Professor, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me with this? And I said, what is a parallelepiped? And when are we going to use this in the real world? This guy was like, yeah, this is just some work I gave you. You're not really going to use this in the real world.
Trash.
Trash. Trash. That was the very moment I just said, fuck it all. I gave up. I fucking gave it up. I just stopped. I stopped going to class. I stopped going to school. I did not give no fucks. And then I can add on to this subject. On top of this, on top of this. I told you I love physics. I want to understand the universe or this planet. I want to understand what the fuck, the invisible. So when I hear the invisible force, when we're talking about the other self, I'm like, yo, physics, we can't physically see physics. Suppose we can't see gravity, but we know it exists. If I had this goddamn bottle and I let go, it's gonna drop. We identify that experience as gravity. So it's an invisible force. We see this. We understand it. So I was like, man, I want to understand physics. So in the same breath, in the same spirit, the same semester, I'm taking physics as well, right? I had taken it at the community college. I was not doing well. The professor was an awesome professor. He just couldn't connect to me. Remember, previously, I'm doing A plus in calculus 1, calculus 2, pre-calculus, trigonometry, you name it. I'm getting A's in this shit. I'm mastering the shit. Get to this professor that was in the community college, San Antonio Community College. He could not connect with me. I'm like, man, I'm asking questions. I'm studying. I'm stressing. It just didn't connect. I said, fuck it. It's okay. I'll learn at the university, Texas State University. I find a professor that everyone said, hey, this is the professor you need to take. This professor will help you out. I was like, great, perfect. Signed up for that professor. The first fucking day of class, guess who was in there? Not that professor. I was like, wow. I paid to have a particular professor teach me. The university fucked me with the professor who had an F rating. I looked up this guy and researched this guy. Everybody said this dude was terrible. Terrible. And I should have dropped the class, but I was so desperate because I was like, yo, I want to learn physics. I have to fight through this. That was a horrible experience. I went to this dude's boss and told him, I mean, not just myself, many people. I was in labs and shit. I'm trying to learn this shit. And I had the horrible experience that semester. So I dropped out of school completely. I was like, I'm done with school. With that being said, it goes back to what I'm just saying right now. What Napoleon Hill said, the schools and colleges teach practically everything except the principles of individual achievement. They require young men and women to spend from 4 to 8 years acquiring abstract knowledge, but do not teach them what to do with this knowledge after they get it. I dealt with that. I experienced that on so many hardship levels. I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I said all that to say, man, I was on board with Napoleon Hill, man. I was on board with this guy. I mean, we were there, man. We were there, bro. He gave me a heel turn. So my question is to anyone who follows this book, who have read this book, I need to share and seek wisdom. Once again, like, what the fuck, man? Where do I go from here? I got that same feeling when I was, like I told you, when I was in grad school. I got that same feeling when I was taking that Calculus 3 class. I get that same feeling when I had that physics professor. Both of them. I feel empty now. Because I feel betrayed by Napoleon Hill and Miss Sharon Letcher. I feel betrayed because I was seeking specific answers, and we were there. We agreed. Schools ain't teaching shit. They trash. We get that. Hey, the economy is trash. We get that. We understand. We agree. We are not disagreeing on that. Okay. Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, the inner self. Okay. All right. You saying I have this. I have this in me. It's not separate. It's not apart from me. It's in me. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's rock. We rocking. We moving. You telling me about the same experiences. You've had hard times, hardships. You broke. I've been broke. Hell, I'm broke now. I don't have any income. I'm broke. I'm getting it. We're on track. We're moving. Chapter 1, we getting it. All right. You get to the hotel. You got a different mindset. Hey, I'm with you. You're putting yourself in great position. All right, we're there. Why did you heel turn me? Why did you switch over and then say, do you believe in prayer? I don't believe in prayer. I don't believe in your God. Now what? Now what? That hurts, man. Talking about a heel turn, man. Talking about a heel turn. Wow. Man, I really need your help on this one, man. I really need your help, man. Do I just cut the information that we agreed on? Do I cut that part off and just stick to that and can progress forward and create my own philosophy? Is that what I'm called to do? Because like I said, for myself and even if you are in another religion, Napoleon Hill and Sharon Lecture have just excluded us. They've just excluded us. If you don't believe what they're believing, then where does that leave us? Let me know what you think about that, man. I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. I'm going to end the stream on that one, man. That's a tough one, man. It's a cliffhanger. It just left me empty, man. It's like, damn, man, that's cold-blooded. But anyway, man, I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the stream. I am going to try to put timestamps. I have not been doing that lately. I've been trying to cut the streams in smaller portions because I know some people don't watch live streams. So I'm doing a lot of work. Well, I'm trying to make it more convenient so I can share ideas and get this information out. So in the midst of that, I thank you for watching. I thank you for tuning in. My request is that you please hit the like button. My request is that you send me comments because I'm asking questions. I'm not just here just saying things out loud or just saying things to you. I'm actually looking for a response so that I can have clarity because I don't know everything. I'm learning. I'm listening. I'm seeking wisdom. I'm seeking wisdom. I like to share that when I open my stream. I like to seek wisdom. And last, please subscribe, man. Subscribe to me. Connect with me, man. That's a connection. We can connect together. And you can see my journey along the way, man. I'm going to hold to the other self. I'm going to hold on to that. Because that's all I have right now. I have my free agent lifestyle. I got Robert Kiyosaki. I got the manipulated man. I got tools. Here. I got tools. To defend, I have tools. I have some things. But I like the concept of the other self, of looking deep within. I like that entrepreneur. Get out there. I'm with that. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to have to do. Just take that little bit and stop it. Just cut off right there and develop my own thing. So I'm not stopping my own purpose or my drive to find success. I'm not stopping that part. I'm still pushing, man. It just sucks that they did that. It sucks that the author and Napoleon Hill took that turn. That's what hurts, man. I'm like, yo, what you're saying is useless. But anyway, I appreciate you, man, for tuning in, man. Until we meet again. Oh, tomorrow's stream, I'm gonna do a little something different. I'm going to, if you're interested, I'm gonna look at some female content creators. Someone gave me the idea that I'm always listening to male content perspectives or male perspective, if you will, overall. So it's like I'm gonna look and dive into female perspective, women's perspective. It's obvious we're night and day, whatever you want to call it. We don't see eye to eye. But someone told me to just look at their perspective. So I'm going to start doing that as well. So we'll do that tomorrow. Man, it's always peace. 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 That's what I'm looking for. Peace. I'm looking for peace of mind, man, in this crazy fucking world, man. And as always, man, fellas, man, we got to take care of ourselves, man. It's tough. I know it, bro. But we deserve it, man. If you like me and you out here trying to get it, you trying to do well, you trying to boss up, you trying to get it, you trying to focus, you trying to do right by yourself, you trying to be somebody, do something with your life. In the midst of all of that, we got to be kind to ourselves, fellas. We have to, man. The world does not give no fucks. The world don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me. It's just what it is, man. So I'm mentally telling myself, be kind to myself. All right? I appreciate you, man.
Just let me eat you one time. You gonna sleep for 3 days, my baby. I'm gonna make you cry.
Are you gonna show us?
Ay, ay, ay!